Alright guys, what we're going to do is we're going to replace this cell. If you look closely, that cell has broken loose from here and pushed out. So we can do this a couple of ways. We can shut down the whole system, or we can shut off all the valves. In reality, the valves should hold, but we're going to go ahead and shut the whole system off. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the power is off, and it is. We're going to walk over here to the breaker box. And let's see. We'll shut those three off. I'll take the heat off now. What you're going to do first is disconnect these leads. You're going to look inside here. It all looks good. You can look here, you see you have that little bit of corrosion right there. We're going to want to clean that up before we get done. Channel locks. Now, it's not a bad idea to wear safety glasses and gloves when you do this. There's definitely a chance for explosion here if for some reason the power would turn on there. So what we're going to do here, we're going to open this back door, get us a little ventilation. We use these big channel locks to loosen up these nuts. A little bit, about a quarter inch. It's good to turn it the opposite direction a little first, just kind of see where you're at as far as snow goes. Got a little corrosion there on the top of the grinder. Yeah, that actually looks great. Let me get by you here real quick. Yeah, come on, hang out. Alright. I understand. You what?
I was just going to do the salt cells myself. But, every time, man, I'm going to do it, man.
Well, for starters, the one thing you want to do with these things is just be very, very, very careful. They're kind of brittle. And in your case, you have to be even more so careful.
Does it just straight in and straight out?
Yep. Yeah, you can't screw it up as long as the cord's on the bottom. Now, if you look right here, you can see where it's severed from that weld.
Yeah, I see that.
All the way across.
Yeah, I can see that on the top.
But in reality, a 24/7 for this many years,
Probably not too bad.
it's actually been really good.
Well, I don't run it all the time. I run about, I can't remember, I got the 7.
Well, I mean, it always has water flowing through it, is what I'm saying. And so, in reality, the amount of time that it has had water running through it, pretty good. Now you want to make sure that everything's always off if you ever have to do this. And this is a very tedious deal. If you damage this, there ain't no going back.
Right. Yeah, that's the kind of shit I'm getting at, man. I don't struggle with shit like that, Michael. Well, the instructions that sent to me, man, were kind of, wasn't no dang pictures, wasn't nothing, man. Just,
Well, of course not. They don't want to make it easy on you.
if I had my way, I'd never touch them anyway. It'd be somebody who's off.
not going to cooperate. It's a little bit of a suction there, which
I'm sure.
once I break the suction,
Oh yeah. That's all I wanted to see do.
yeah, those clips were busted off too. It was a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
The wear really isn't that bad.
No, it ain't bad.
That middle one there is pretty thin. But yeah, all your clips, everything that holds it together was about toast.
Alright.
Alright.
I got 500 too.
I got you an extra light bulb too. I didn't bring it here, but I have it.
Alright.
So in case you ever need one, we'll always have it.
Yeah, difference between that one and the one, because I got a billion of them, but all mine are 12 volts.
Understand. Gotcha.
Yeah, all mine are 12 volts.
Alright. Oh, I forgot one thing. It is pretty difficult to function without your gas. Alright, now, one thing you definitely want to make sure of when you get these things, if you know anything about Compu, you know that it's an Australian company. They're really not of the best quality. But one cool thing when it comes to commercials aspect of them, for instance, this is on a hot tub. A small body of water is going to require some type of timing system. And what's cool about the Compu, the CPS series, is that they actually have an internal timer. So you cannot, it's really difficult to over-chlorinate the water. Where in most salt systems don't have that option. Therefore, putting a salt system on a small body of water, such as a hot tub, pretty tough to do. So it works out very, very well. But basically what you want to do is you want to make sure all of these welds are good and strong. These clips are good and strong. You see the spot welds. And how a salt system works is you have these three on this plate, this polarity. Current runs through and it will run these. The other half of the time it will reverse its current down to here and push on these two. It's kind of a self-cleaning mechanism, that way they don't run all the time. Now, you can put a little magic lube on this if you so desire. Not a bad idea. In all reality, it should be a good seal. But it's not a bad idea. We won't go nuts with it. Just a very small amount. Make sure those pins look good. They do. Make sure we're all clean and clear of any debris. There we are. Now, one thing that's cool about the Compu also is that they have this little groove here, and that keeps those plates straight. Some do not, so it's always nice to have that. Now, when you tighten all these plastic fittings, remember that they, again, are plastic. Do not over tighten. And you'll kind of hear this thing snap into place. This thing really doesn't have to be on here, it's just kind of a cool factor, to be honest with you. It really has no functionality to it. they call it like a safety, which, you know, I guess if it breaks, it'll take more force to break through both pieces of plastic. So I guess technically it has a purpose. Now, remember that I said to shut this off, because if you do not shut this off and this thing runs without water flowing through it, I've seen it, it will happen, this will explode. And what happens is the water is not carrying the gas away, and it builds up the gas, and it has no other option than to go upward and explode. Not a very fun deal if you're a part of it. Now, when tightening these things down, you want to get them pretty hand snug. Come back with the big channel locks. Now, if there was any corrosion in this, what you would do is take have a little wire brush, looks kind of like a bottle cleaner, but it's miniature. And you can take it in there and spin it around. Some people just take a screwdriver and scratch. I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea. Then take some electrical parts cleaner, spray it in there, dry it off, and then it's not a bad idea to put a little electrical grease in it. Especially if you're in an outside environment. This is an inside environment. So therefore it's not really exposed to the elements. Alright, let's fire it up. Now you broke the seal on all this stuff, so it's really important to make sure you dry everything off, make sure it's not leaky. And they can leak. It's looking fantastic. Let's go ahead and hit power button. Now this thing's going to have to run a cycle. So if you see, you immediately see the chlorine that shot out of there. It's a good sign. Looks like we're good to go.